Carbon. We're going to start with how carbon gets emitted into the atmosphere. And it's going to be mainly as CO2. So phosphate is mainly as, or phosphorus is mainly as phosphate. Sulfur is mainly as sulfate. Carbon is mainly as carbon dioxide, except when it's in the hydrosphere. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So when carbon enters the atmosphere, it does by many ways. Name some. Burning of fossil fuels. What else? Biomass burning.
Wait, what's a BFF?
Burning of fossil fuels. No more best friends forever. And FF is fossil fuels. We got to shorten that word, right? What else besides biomass burning, which is really a fossil fuel burning and wood burning and incineration of organisms, yeah? Okay. What else produces CO2? Animals how? Yes. I think that, oh, whoops. Decay of organic matter, good. Respiration, awesome. Birth of Earth, carbon dioxide. Volcanic eruptions. And then it's also released from the oceans. Remember the positive feedback loop picture? When the oceans get warmer, it releases CO2 or darker. Okay. Now, into the hydrosphere. CO2 actually can dissolve straight into the ocean. So the ocean absorbs a lot of CO2. When it's in the ocean, it's considered almost like getting trapped. So the carbon that's naturally cycled throughout the biosphere kind of gets trapped because CO2 will react with calcium and it'll form calcium carbonate. And you have to know that. CO2 plus calcium produces calcium carbonate. That's CaCO4 negative.
Do we need to know the CaCO4 negative?
Unfortunately. Because you don't know if you're going to get the compound or the name of the compound as a reference. So you have to be, now, if it's an essay question for me, you could put either. But if you know that you could spot check it, then that's okay. Because I'm not going to ask, name the compound and give me the chemical. I mean, maybe, but I don't on this test. Eventually, I'll let you know. All right. So calcium carbonate, when you think of calcium, you think of bones. It forms shells and bones of organisms. And then that eventually reacts and forms limestone, and that's how the carbon gets trapped. Because think about it, bones is like rocks, which takes a while to break up, right? And shells, how many times you look at the beach and there's shells everywhere and they don't break apart. So it's kind of stuck there.
Is that what carbon dating comes from? Because the carbon gets trapped?
Here's all the release. Fossil fuel burning, respiration from the cow or from the plant, and then there's no volcano here, but carbon release from the ocean. So we got 3 of the things I mentioned there. Now, it's going to go into the biosphere. It's going to go into plants. So it either gets dissolved in water, and there could be a plant in the water and it takes it in. Or it's going to take it in on land, and I'm turning the page because I'm focusing on this reaction. So it went into this plant. You see, carbon dioxide enters the atmosphere, and with the assistance from the sun, which drives the reaction, and water, it makes sugar. It's the first form of energy for organisms. And then the food chain begins, and then what happens? Animal eats the plant, da, 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 da. And then what can happen? You should know this by heart. They can die or release waste, and then how? Say it in order. They die or release waste, and decomposers break down the organic form of carbon and release it into the atmosphere or the hydrosphere or the lithosphere. Done. You have to know this chemical reaction. 6 molecules of water plus 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus light. So you can put light right up here if you want. Make C6H12O6, which is sugar, which is the same thing as saying a carbohydrate, plus 6 molecules of oxygen.